It's cranking up. Let's try to do this one over here. Let's try to do that like that. And we're live over there. Welcome everyone if you're joining in. Let's getting all lives going today. All right, so today we are doing a, just get this right. Today we're doing a new session called Read with Nathan. You can do the hashtag Read with Nathan, which gives you the opportunity to have me read to you if you ever had the desire to have me read to you, not at night, but you know what I mean. Oh wow, okay. Feel bad for you guys. That's what I feel bad for. So let me fix that there. Get you guys all taken care of. There we go. All right, you guys good there? Okay, you guys good there? Awesome. So I'm just gonna relocate you guys for fun. How about that? Is that okay? All right, good. All right, so I want to welcome you to this new segment called Read with Nathan, hashtag Read with Nathan. And what this is about is basically I'm going to read to you. It's something I want to, I always get a lot of people who are always reading books. I just got a question yesterday. Nathan, share with me what's the best books I could be reading as in building my business and what can I be doing? So, literally early in the morning was like, bam, what is it? Got this download right into my brain about how this could possibly help. I'm a part of a few masterminds. I'm a part of a few reading groups, and I'll tell you what, the benefit that comes from that is so powerful. It really is. Where we read a books. I'm in one group. I used to be in one group actually. What we used to do is we would read the book, and then we'd come back with the following week. We'd come back with ideas or feedback, or comments, and stuff like that. So that was one way. Another way that I've recently been doing it for the past year is what we do is we read about 1, 2, 3 chapters straight, just straight, and then we would go over any questions we have, challenge opinions and thoughts. And I found it to be really, really cool and unique, and I think that's something that we can definitely benefit from. So the book that we're going to be covering and that we're going to be reading is called "The Greatest Secret in the World" by Mandino, and it is truly a great book. It's a powerful book. There's actually a series of these books. And I think you should. I highly recommend you reading them because they're really all really good. Sorry guys if you're getting a little dizzy there for a second. I could have done a test beforehand, but you know how we do it. We just do it. We just do it around here. So let me just double check that for you guys. Okay, is that all right? You guys okay? Here we go. All right, cool. So, I wanted to start with this book because it's a really powerful book. It's actually one of the most powerful books that I started out with on my journey. Again, the title of this book is "The Greatest Secret in the World" by Mandino, and this book is just really powerful. After this one, what we're going to do in Read with Nathan, what we're going to do is we're going to read 2 chapters each week. So you can actually tune back here on next Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And while this is going on, you can feel free to ask questions during. I'll be answering questions in the chat area as well. And also, if you want to shed an opinion, an aha moment, or something like that, something with that's going to add value to our conversation. So what I plan on doing is I'm going to be reading 2 chapters each session, so each week at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right, and again, like I said, I will stop at every chapter, and I will at every chapter I'll stop and I'll read any comments that have come up and answer those questions that have come up, or thoughts or aha moments that you may have. So I will get those answered on at that point during each break, okay, each chapter. So first I want to open it up with a quote in the beginning of the book. Now you can feel free, by the way, I am going to post a picture or a direct link to this book if you want to get it on Amazon, or if you want to buy it from a local bookstore, that's fine too. If you want to buy the digital version or the physical version, either way, if you want, so you can follow along, or you could just listen to my voice and have me listen to me read it to you. Either way. So I wanted to start off by reading this part by Thomas Huxley, and he said, "The most valuable result of all education is to make you do the thing you have to do. When it ought to be done, whether you like it or not. It is the first lesson that ought to be learned. And however early a man's life training begins, it is probably the last lesson that he learns thoroughly." What I gathered just from this quote, really powerful. What I gather from this quote right here is that even though we go through life learning, what we need to be doing is doing, right? Well, that's what we need to be focused on first, is actually doing and learning along the way. I'm going to post this quote actually in the description after this lesson, after this session together, so that you can also read that. It's really powerful right there. All right. So let's dive right in, and I'll kick it off with the introduction. And it comes from The Legend of the 10 Scrolls from the Greatest Salesman in the World, which is another book we will be reading. Once upon a time, nearly 2,000 years ago, a young camel boy named Hafid fell in love with a wealthy merchant's daughter. To improve his lowly station in life, in order that he could ask for fair Lasaia's hand in marriage, Hafid convinced his master, the great caravan merchant, Pathros, to give him an opportunity to prove his ability as a salesman. From the caravan supply wagon, Pathros presented the youth with one new robe, which he challenged himself to sell in a nearby village of Bethlehem. For 3 days in that poor hamlet, Hafid failed in his every attempt to sell this robe. And finally, in the moment of pity, he gave the robe to a warm and newborn baby in the cave near the village inn. The young man returned to the caravan so full of shame and self-pity with his future becoming a salesman that he did not notice the bright shining star above his head, which accompanied him on his journey from Bethlehem. But Pathros noticed the old man interpreted the brightness above him as a sign from the gods, a sign that he had been waiting for many, many years, as a sign for which he would release him from his secret possession of the great 10 scrolls of success, which he had received when he had also been a poor youth. The old merchant, before his death, presented the 10 scrolls to Hafid, who employed their principles to eventually become the wealthiest, most successful and the greatest salesman in the world. Several decades later, Hafid passed the 10 scrolls on to a very special person. Now you hold them in your hands, and in this book you will be taught how to read them and how to apply their wisdom to your own life, plus how to chart your day-to-day progress with your own success recorder so that you can achieve lasting wealth, health, happiness, and most importantly, peace of mind. I like how that introduction opens, because one of the things I take away with that is the truth of, notice how he brings up the relation to young and old, right? He brings up the part where he says there's a young lad, there's like a young man, and he recalls the time, the merchant recalls the time when he was a poor young lad, right? And now he's obviously not poor, right, anymore. So I want to bring that up because that is actually, I can already tell that this merchant in this example had a lot of experience. He's recalling the thoughts that he had when he was a poor boy, right? When he was poor and younger, right? The struggle, right? So now today he has a lot of more experience, right? So that's one powerful thing that I can share with you right there, is that, you know, success takes time. It doesn't happen overnight, and it's a journey, not a destination, right? Success, wealth, happiness, all that is a journey, not a destination. And personally, you don't want it to be a destination, because, you know, this, I have to say, the suckiest thing about achieving a goal is achieving it. Yeah, I know that may sound kind of strange, but like the weirdest thing is when you actually get what you have been striving for. Yes, it feels good, but the reality is that that desire just dies out in a short amount of time. It just disappears. And then you're like, okay, what's next, right? So the journey is where the passion, where the desire, where the excitement, where the failure all lives. And it's probably the best part of the process. It really is, as developing yourself as a human being. So, all right, let's jump in. Chapter 1. Like I said, if you have any questions while I'm reading a chapter, because I'm not really going to stop during the reading of a chapter, but if you have any questions or any aha moments, you can feel free to just chime in and write in the chat, ask the question there, and I will jump to it right after the end of that chapter, okay? Sound good? All right, chapter 1, the greatest secret in the world. Chapter 1. Before you and I become involved in the 10 great scrolls for success, let's have a heart-to-heart talk. I'll talk, you listen. The money spent on this book has been wasted. Whether someone who cares for you, who wants you to make it big, who perhaps even loves you, gave you the greatest secret in the world, or whether you purchased it yourself, the money has been wasted. The money has been wasted unless you are willing to accept and try a plan which has already worked for thousands of others. The money has been wasted unless you have the guts, the persistence, and the willpower to follow the plan through its fruition. The money has been wasted unless you are willing to give the plan just 10 minutes of your time each day of your work week for 45 weeks. That's 45 weeks. Stop there. 45 weeks. Are you ready for this? I mean, are you really going to want to do this journey? 45 weeks. I know when I first read this book, I was willing, I was ready. I'm like, yes, I'm ready. Let's do it. But you know, there's a good question for you. Have you ever done something for a long period of time where you may have wanted to give up, but you just got to keep pressing through? You ever been in that situation? I'm sure you have. I think anyone who's part of the Fearless Millionaire group is someone who's definitely trying to persevere and pursue something worthy and beyond themselves. Okay. All right, let's continue. The money has been wasted unless you are willing to give the plan just 10 minutes of time each day of your work week for 45 weeks. If I were a Nick the Greek type odds maker, I'd say the odds were about 75 to 1 against your letting this system for doubling or tripling your income within a year help you as much as it can. But I'm different, you remind me. So many times we say, oh, I'm different. My business is different. This is different. So, but I'm different, you remind me. Really? If you have made any New Year's resolutions last January 1st, how long did you keep them? What about those excess pounds you were going to lose? Or those cigarettes you were going to quit using? Or that second drink you were going to stop having? How long are you going to keep kidding yourself? Perhaps you really do have a burning desire to succeed. Perhaps that added responsibility of marriage or parenthood, or the desire for a new home, even a new car, or a mounting pile of debts have forced you to come to terms with yourself and acknowledge that the solution to all your needs and desires is really dependent on only one person, and that is you. But a burning desire to succeed is not enough. As an executive editor for the Success Unlimited, a magazine devoted to helping individuals improve their business and personal life, I long ago recognized the fact that there are two types of a burning desire. And one type is a phony and hypocritical. This phony type of burning desire is found in a person who constantly telling his wife, his boss, and worst of all, himself, that he really wants to succeed. He reads all the self-help books published, and he gets his kicks from reading about others succeeding, just as they're individuals who get their kicks out of reading pornographic books. I'm going to stop right there for a second, because the author here, Mandino, is talking about something that's really, really important. I actually personally experienced this, and you let me know too, if you've ever experienced this, that you've probably read a lot of books, right? And then you just kept reading and getting addicted to reading the books and the success stories, but never really end up doing anything. Has that ever happened to you? Let me know in the comments if that has. And what have you done about it to change, right? To take more action, right? To do something about it, right? So let's continue. Just wanted to stop there and put out that question to you if you've ever been in that situation. I know I have. I know right after my car accident, when I got into that serious car accident and I was just coming out of that, I was like wondering, why am I here? Where am I going? What's my purpose in life? I literally just started a reading binge. I just kept reading. I would literally read for 4 hours every day. I'd finish my newspaper route probably around 7 o'clock, and I'd read from 7 to 11 or 12 most of the time. And then I'd go start my next gig. And man, I'd read. And don't get me wrong, reading is great, but today I've learned how to study. And studying is much more powerful than just reading because it gives you more applied focus. All right, let's continue. So unfortunately for our friends who read either types of these books, they will never get into action. They live their lives voraciously through their imagined participation in the lives and activities of others. Tomorrow is the type of dreamer will be that great day. Tomorrow actually never comes. If I have struck a little nerve with you, don't be concerned. Let me wipe that frown from your brow by assuring you that all of us possess some kind of phony kind of burning desire. We make promises to others, promises that we know we can't keep, in order to get our boss or our wife off our backs, little realizing the harm we are doing in our own personality because we know we are lying. Today is the day you wipe that slate clean. No more phony promises. No more great plans in the evening which vanish when the sun rises. No more kidding yourself. As you move day by day through this simple success program, you will slowly come to realize one important truth. You are nature's greatest miracle. Just to duplicate the computer you possess, called your brain, would require sufficient electronic equipment to fill the entire interior of the entire Empire State Building. You are rare and unique, and the ultimate product of several million years of evolution. Both in mind and body, you are far better equipped than Solomon or Caesar or Plato to make something beautiful and meaningful of your life. Think about that for a minute. He says a very important thing here, where he says both in mind and in body, you are far more better equipped than Solomon, Caesar, or Plato to make something beautiful and meaningful of your life. When we think about the resources we have today, right, in the world, when you think about the resources you have, the power of the internet, the power of communication, the power of duplication, right, the automobile, the phone, the mobile phone, the television, the radio, right? All these things, those three people you just mentioned, Solomon, Caesar, and Plato, guess what? They never had any of that. They didn't. What they had was drive and determination and some of the key factors that we're talking about here. And guess what? He's saying here, you have so much more than that. Your life is so much more meaningful because you have so much more to give. You have so much more access, so much more opportunity. And so does everyone else. So everyone has more access than ever before. So what does that require you to do? I ask you, what does that require you to do? It requires you to be more of who you are as a person, because every person is different, right? Unique in their own way. Everyone's like a snowflake, different in their own way. Everyone is different like a plant. It's different and unique in its own way, and you have something to give. Let's continue. You have greater potential than anyone who has ever lived before you, but you will never make it by sitting on your duff and telling the world how great you're going to be starting tomorrow. Sooner or later, that friendly bill collector or landlord will shake his head at your promises. Sooner or later, that credit runs out. Sooner or later, you put up or you shut up. Let me tell you something, personal story. I read this a number of years ago. I wish I read it sooner before I read a bunch of courses and books, and I was reading so many titles. I've read over 2,000 titles of books, actually. And I wish I read this a lot sooner because I was reading for so long and never doing anything. And when I read this part, I'll never forget, it was like put up or shut up. And to me, it was like sooner or later, someone's going to call you out on your promises. Are they going to be like, hey, do you have experience? Are you doing your goals? Are you setting out to what you want to achieve? People are going to ask you these things, right? People are looking at you. They're wondering, what are you doing? How are you progressing? Your followers, your fans, as we say today, right? Everyone does that. It's like human nature around the world where people look up to other people and they observe at what's going on and what's happening. So just like the leaders, like you mentioned, Solomon, Caesar, and Plato, just like he mentioned, those are people that we've looked up to over the years, right? Maybe not you personally, maybe you've looked up to other people, but those are people that the world, in different parts of the world or different aspects or avenues, obviously some people favor Plato over Caesar, right? So, but people look up to those people, and guess what? There's people that look up to you. So who you are as a person is going to make an impact and makes a difference. So this book will show you how to put up if you will give it a chance to work for you. The Greatest Salesman in the World, the book which this guide was developed, has been a publishing phenomenon since its first edition in 1968. Few books, especially books on salesmanship, ever attain hardcover sales of 250,000 copies, and neither the author nor its publisher dared to imagine that a small volume amount of salesmen living in the time of Christ would be met with an enthusiastic reception that it has enjoyed. Even more amazing, sales have increased each year of its publication. Now, after we're done reading this book, we are going to read The Greatest Salesman in the World, which is a great book, which is kind of the building block to this one. Executives responsible for the supervision of sales groups throughout the country quickly recognized the potential impact of The Greatest Salesman in the World as a motivational tool. Soon after the publication, one firm purchased 30,000 copies that have been purchased in volume by several hundred firms and sales organizations, including such corporate giants as Coca-Cola, Amway Corporation, Combined Insurance Company of America, Kraft Foods, Success Motivation Institute, Park, Davis and Company, Sperry Hutchinson, Volkswagen, Valley Steel Company, Genesco, Stanley Home Products, Norton International, the Southwestern Company, Stratford Square International, American General Insurance, Company of Delaware, Stamatic, Life Insurance of Kentucky, and Steak and Ale Restaurants of America. Soon after the publication, both the author and publisher received another pleasant surprise. The Greatest Salesman in the World, written primarily for salespeople, had somehow filtered far beyond its intended market. Letters seeking more information about the scrolls began to arrive from individuals and organizations representing such widely diversified groups, such as the artist colony, prison heads concerned with rehabilitation, management consultants, politicians, college professors, armed forces personnel, the medical profession, students, professional athletes, even the National Center for Brain and Damaged Children. One salesman, after purchasing a gun to end his life because he had taken company funds, wrote that the book saved his life. He went to the firm, confessed his mistake, and made restitution, and was given another chance. Many wrote that this book's title was misleading. The Greatest Salesman in the World sounded like a salesman's book, whereas it was a book for anyone searching for his or her niche in life. The book became and still is a popular gift item. Sales managers to their salesmen, parents to their children, wives to their husbands who are still struggling. I want to stop right there and share something with you because I see a few things going on here, which is pretty powerful. One, I see what's called in sales, what is called future pacing, and also edification of a product or service, right, or even a person. So as you can see here, I want to share a little bit of marketing with you. As he's writing this book, he's edifying the other book, which is going to encourage you and make you want to read the other one. Okay, so now you're not just satisfied with one, you're hearing so many great things that you want to know more about the other one. You can pay attention to that. That's what's called it's called seeding, and also persuading people and motivating people to read the other book. And the other book does the same thing, so they kind of coordinate. It's a great way to sell things. All right. The other thing I want to bring up, that's what's really important about this, is not just a sales book, right? The other one, The Greatest Salesman in the World and The Greatest Secret in the World, is not just about sales, right? It's not just like, oh, this guy is selling shoes or cars or whatever you want to, you fill in the blank, whatever the product is. No, actually, here's the truth. Sales is everyone's a salesperson. Sales is everywhere and everyone. Everyone is always selling. And actually, the first person you sell every day is you. You are the greatest salesperson in your life, and you sell yourself every day on you, on what you can become, who you're going to be, what you want to do, what impact you want to have in the world, right? All those things. You are the greatest salesperson in your life and in the people around you. And this has an impact in your entire life, goals, and dreams. Everything you do is based on your sales skills. The cool thing is, no one is born with sales skills. Actually, I personally was born very shy. I was very quiet, very reserved. But over time, just because out of the will to win, I learned and I discovered through my good friend Brian Tracy. He said sales skills can be learned. You just have to sharpen your sales skills sword. You call it the triple S, but the sales skills sword, and you can get better and become a knight in sales, right? So there was a whole iconic viewpoint there about becoming a knight, becoming strong, becoming good, becoming a professional in sales, right? So, again, the first person you sell, yourself every day. That's who you're selling every day. Whether you can or you can't, so it will be. You make the choice. All right, so hopefully, let's continue. Hopefully, with my name dropping of all the corporations and the other examples cited in the past few paragraphs, I have sold you. See what I told you? I have sold you on the fact you are not just holding another how-to sales book loaded with complicated theories, charts, and selling techniques that look and sound terrific, but won't do much for you tomorrow or next week. Each success goal will be beneficial to you no matter what your profession may be, providing you make one sincere promise to yourself that you will give it just 10 minutes of your time each workday for the next 45 weeks. That's it, just 10 minutes, about the time it takes for you to take a shower each day, maybe. I totally lost my place. All right, is that too much to ask to double or triple your income in the next 10 months? 10 minutes a day, is that too much to ask? When have you ever had a deal like this before? Now, I'm not going to ask you what you want from life. I'm not sure you could answer me. And I'm not going to ask you to list your assets as they are now and then make a second list showing what you'd like them to be a year from now, 5 years from now, and so on. We don't need to go through all the pipe dream success bookkeeping you find in most self-help books. All we need to do now is know there are 4 facts. What is your job title and what is your weekly income today? Plus, what would it be like, what would you like your job title to be, and what do you want to be earning 45 days from now when you complete the success reporter? I'm going to give you those 4 questions again that Og shares here, and he says he wants you to write down these 4 facts. He says, what is your job title and what is your weekly income today? Plus, what would you like your job title to be and the income that you'd be making and earning 45 weeks from now. So write those down. I encourage you to do it. I know I wrote mine down just about 4 days ago. And so I would encourage you to do that as well. So on a piece of paper, which I want you to keep in the privacy of your home, I'd like you to write a memo to yourself. And basically it would sound like this: to John Smith, put the date, my present job title is, my present weekly income is, my job title 45 weeks from now is, my weekly income 45 weeks from now is, right? That's all. And then you sign it and then tuck it away. Don't even discuss it with anyone except perhaps your wife or your husband. Do it now, right now. Procrastination is one of the habits we can start working on any too soon. Now, I want to give you another side thing that I've learned over the years. I've studied a lot of goal setting programs. I've been in a lot of coaching programs, goal setting, high achievement, high performance stuff. When he says tuck it away here, I'm a little, in my experience and what I've done, I'm going to discourage that. I don't think you should tuck it away. Yes, you should do what you feel comfortable with. I would encourage you to hyperactive growth, for hyperactive growth. What you'd want to do is share that with someone, not just anyone, someone that is supportive of your goals and dreams, meaning they're on the same path as you. You know, that's what's so cool about the Fearless Millionaires. The Fearless Millionaire group, the Fearless Millionaires at events, the Fearless Millionaires anywhere you connect with another one, online, offline, that type of thing, is because you know that if you are a Fearless Millionaire and you know someone else is a Fearless Millionaire, you are of like mind. That means you're supportive. There's going to be people in your life that are not supportive. There's going to be people around you and in your life that are just not going to be on the same path mentally, wanting to build wealth and freedom as you. That's okay. Don't worry about them. Love them, but you don't have to pick them. You don't have to choose them. What you can do is pick other Fearless Millionaires in the group that you bond and connect with and share your goals and dreams with them, because then that way you know you at least have something in common, that you're both motivated by wealth and freedom, advancing your life so you can live your goals and our core values that we have. So, so keep that in mind. All right. Why didn't I ask you for a long list of things you wanted to achieve and acquire in the next 10 months? Things like a new home, perhaps, or the beginning of a college fund for your children, or maybe that movie camera with the 10:1 zoom lens you wanted for so long. Because it wasn't necessary. If you have improved your job title and your weekly income as much as I think you have indicated on that private memo to yourself, then all the material things you want will begin to come your way Any long list of your dreams is unnecessary. You know what you want, and your success recorded diary will help keep you on the right course. Powerful ending to that chapter right there, where he says, you already know what you want. There's no need to write these long lists. There isn't. And when I say long lists, I'm talking like 50, 100 things on that list. When I first started actually goal setting, that's actually how long my lists were. I remember writing on one side of the paper, flipping it over, and doing on the other side. And after my good friend Brian Tracy taught me in a coaching session, he said, no, keep it short, actually reduce them. And my other good friend Raymond Aaron taught me the seriously power of goal setting, and it reduced it down to 10. And so that's really, really important, okay? And actually in my program, Steps to Success, I actually have that in my own formula that I've learned from my mentors and trainers and coaches about goal setting and the power of achievement and how to do that even faster, how to achieve your goals even faster. So yeah, so he brings up a good point. Don't let your goals and dreams be long lists, 2 and 3 pages long, even though you do want a bunch. What you need to do is reduce it first and then start moving forward towards those things, and then slowly trying to achieve them, right? That's step by step. Okay. So we're at chapter 2. We're at chapter 2 of The Greatest Secret in the World. Let's jump into that and begin. Like I said, if you have any questions or any aha moments from reading either one of these chapters, just put it in the comments, and then we'll answer the question or go over your aha moment right after or in between the chapters, something like that. Okay, so chapter 2 of The Greatest Secret in the World. You can begin your success recorder on any Monday during the year. But once you commence, you must not let anything except a serious illness prevent you from following through each day. One exception. If a vacation is in your schedule and you plan on going on holiday, while you're working on this program, go off and enjoy yourself. Then on your first day back to work, just pick up where you left off. Very important. A lot of people even work through their vacations or their holidays and they're going. You got to know when to have that balance and when to have a break. You are about to read the first great scroll for success. This scroll contains the instructions on how and when you are to read the scrolls that follow. Read the scrolls several times during the weekend prior to Monday when you begin this program. Warning. Don't let the simplicity of the scrolls instructions turn you off. Simplicity is the keynote of success in any endeavor. I love that quote. I actually have it highlighted here. I love it because today, especially with the power of the internet and all these tools we have at our fingertips, we can actually get overwhelmed and make things more complicated than things have to be. Simplicity is the keynote of success in any endeavor. Remember Vince Lombardi and his uncomplicated game plans relying on basic fundamentals and the minimum of plays? Remember the letter KISS? Keep it simple, stupid. KISS, K-I-S-S, keep it simple, stupid. You are about to learn how to tangle with the worst enemy you have, your bad habits. That's actually another thing I highlighted here because it's so true. And that's actually why I created the Fearless Millionaire Habits, because I learned that actually over the years, what I learned and studied about human nature and who we are as people, our biggest battles is not building the business. Our biggest battle isn't the funding for the business. Our biggest battle isn't the sales. Our biggest battle isn't the marketing. Our biggest battle isn't our team. Our biggest battle is the bad habits that we have. And when you have bad habits, they just kind of like flow right into any endeavor you do. So if you go into something with bad habits already, it's just going to make it so much harder. And you know, I wish I learned this first after all my years of studying and learning and educating. Man, I wish I learned that first, that I needed to change who I was and the way I thought about things and the way I processed things, the way I saw things. I'll give you an example. I used to think I had to do everything myself. Okay, my first website, man, I poured in over $5,000 into my first website. And what did it get me? Absolutely nothing. Nothing. Absolutely nothing. It looked good. It looked cool to me only. What did it get me? Nothing. Bad habits. I thought I had to do everything myself. I thought I had to build a website. I thought I had to do everything. Time and energy. One of the things I've learned, especially creating the Fearless Millionaire Habits, is that when you start knowing what your strengths and what your weaknesses are, you can focus on your strengths, right? You can say no to the things you're not good at. If someone says, hey, do you want to do this? And I'll share something with you that's really powerful. I made a decision, I don't know, probably like 10 years ago. It was when I got into the mortgage business. I made a decision to never, ever pick up a heavy thing again. Nothing over like 30 pounds, okay? And I don't know how many kilos that is, by the way, my international friends, but it's quite a bit. So I made a decision never to pick up a lot of weight, because I was always picking up heavy things as a younger guy. I was picking up stacks of newspapers. I was picking up flour bags at my dad's bakery. I was picking up all kinds of heavy things on a regular basis. And one day I just made the decision, when I got actually into the mortgage business, I went from wearing, beat up clothes all the time, clothes that didn't always smell too good, and, clothes that had holes in them. And I went from that to wearing a suit every day. And I said, never again will I pick something heavy up. It was my choice. It was my decision. So whenever I see something big, whenever I see something heavy, or something, I say, no, I can't do it. Why? Because it's not part of my policy. It's not part of my rule book, my personal rule book. I'm using this as an example for you. There's many other things I say no to these days, such as I don't build, and this is as of 3 years ago, I don't build websites anymore. I don't. I know someone who's very good at them. I have people on my team, stuff like that. So I'm giving you 2 examples from my past, from my recent recent present 3 years ago. I'm sharing those things with you because that you have to focus on the things that are your strengths and say no to the things that are not a part of you, that you're not good at, that you just like, wow, this is just not me. It's not my talent. Okay, so we can continue here. I just want you to remember this. Ask yourself this question: what is your unique ability? So ask yourself this question like this: what is my unique ability? Right? Think about it, write it out. It's really powerful. I studied this about 6 years ago. Oh gosh, maybe 7, 8 years ago. And when I learned that, I was like, wow, that is so true. And I look at your unique ability as God's gift to you. And that's divinely different within you. So remember that question and use it in your life, okay? So let's continue. You are about to learn how to tangle with the worst enemy you have, your bad habits. The scroll marked number 1 contains the secret for getting rid of them. Read slowly. Read with a pen or a pencil in your hand if you like an underlying idea which you feel are most meaningful and relevant to you. As you proceed, you will discover that you have company. Me. I'll be with you along the way. So Og's with you and I'm with you, and we will be with you along the way for sure. Oh, 1 second. Okay. Okay, the scroll marked number 1. It begins like this. Today I begin a new life. Today I shed my old skin, which hath too long suffered the bruises of failure and the wounds of mediocrity. Today I am born anew, and my birthplace is a vineyard where there is fruit for all. Today I will pluck grapes of wisdom from the tallest and fullest vines in the vineyard. For these were planted by the wisest of my profession, who have come before me, generation upon generation. Today I will savor the taste of grapes from these vines, and verily I will swallow in the seed of success buried in each, and new life will sprout within me. The career I have chosen is laden with opportunity, yet it is fraught with heartbreak and despair in the bodies of those who have failed. Where they piled on top of another would cast a shadow down on all pyramids of the earth. I want to stop there for a second. He brings something up very important here. He brings up a part where he says, listen, the career I have chosen is laden with opportunity. That means there's a lot of opportunity. But yet it is fraught with the heartbreak and despair and the bodies of those who have failed, where they're piled on top of another, meaning there was a lot of people who tried and failed and they gave up. Piling on top of one another means they've given up. That means you cannot give up on your goals and dreams. There's other people who are going to be there. There's other people you're going to see around you who are in the same industry, who are trying just like you. What separates you? your burning desire to win. That's what's going to separate you. Let's continue. Yet I will not fail, he says, as the others, for in my hands I will now hold the charts for which that will guide me through perilous waters to shores which only yesterday seemed but a dream. Failure no longer will be my payment for struggle. Wow, that is just powerful, powerful. Failure will no longer be my payment for struggle. Just as nature made no provision for my body to tolerate pain, neither has it made any provision for my life to suffer failure. Like pain, failure, like pain, is an alien to my life. So he's actually already declaring, notice what he's doing here. He's declaring that failure is gone from his life. Whoa, that's powerful, right? Why is that powerful? Because you actually, in order to win, in order to succeed, in order to move forward, in order to live the life of your dreams, you have to declare what you want. You have to say it. Even when everyone else around you is like, are you kidding me? Are you crazy? Are you stupid? You insane? Right? Are you crazy about these goals and dreams you have? They're just too big, right? You actually have to declare it to the people that support you, declare it to yourself. There's going to be people sometimes that you may say things about your goals and dreams and they are not supportive. They're like, you're crazy. Don't share your goals and dreams with those people. Share it with our community. Share it with other fearless millionaires, because guess what? They are on the same path as you. They may not be in the same industry, may not be in the same niche or business. That's okay. But they're on the same mental path of wealth and freedom. So you have to start declaring. Okay, let's get back. So failure, like pain, is an alien to my life. In the past, I accepted it as I accepted pain. Now I reject it, and I am prepared for wisdom and principles which will guide me out of the shadows into the sunlight of wealth, position, and happiness far beyond my most extravagant dreams, until even the golden apples in the garden of Hesperides will seem no more than just my reward. Now listen, I know that the end there, it sounds kind of like, what is he talking about? What is he referring to? That's not the point. Here's what's the point. Here's what really matters. His declaration to the world, to himself and to the world. That's what's important. He's saying, now I reject it and I am prepared for wisdom. He's already declaring that he's going to get wisdom. He's already declaring that he's going to have principles which guide him out of the shadows into the sunlight of what? The sunlight of wealth, position, and happiness. So see that he's already declaring what he wants. He's declaring those things. And his reward are these golden apples. Listen, you can have your whatever is your golden apple, let it be so. But the truth is, and what he's saying here is that whatever your reward is, you will get. But first you have to think it, then you have to speak it, and then you live it. Okay? Let's continue. Time teaches all things to he who lives forever, but I have not the luxury of eternity. Nobody has the luxury to live forever. Yet within my allotted time, I must practice the art of patience, for nature acts never in haste. This is so powerful because so many people in business and entrepreneurship, they try to get rich quick. Listen to me right here. So many people try to get rich quick. So many people join these companies, these business opportunities, and they try to think it's easy, it sounds good, it sounds simple, sounds like, oh, I can do that. I can make money in 30 days. I can make money in 2 weeks. I can make money in a week. I need $1,000 now. It's not going to happen. Okay? Whenever you hear that, be very, very careful. Okay? Those are not always defined as a scam, but there is a gray line of that. Now, of course, people can do it. Of course, people can go out and make a bunch of money quickly. You can do it illegally. You can do it legally. But the way to build a business is slow and steady wins the race. And that's what he declares here in the scroll. Yet with my allotted time, I must practice the art of patience. For nature acts never in haste. To create the olive, king of all trees, 100 years is required. An onion plant is old as 9 weeks. I have lived as an onion plant. It has not pleased me. Now what's become the greatest olive trees, and in truth, the greatest of salesmen. So he basically references an olive tree, which gives oil and olive juice, right? All that stuff, which is as strong and refined as olives, right? A very expensive, wealthy product, right? It's a very expensive, rich thing, right? Olives. But then you have an onion, which only takes 9 weeks, and it's bitter, makes your eyes water, right? It's just not as valuable, right? It's onions. It's like you leave it out just for a little while, and it's gone bad, right? So he's comparing the two. And how will it be accomplished? For I have neither the knowledge, listen to this is really powerful right here. And how will he achieve this? Right? He's asking himself, how will I achieve my goals and dreams? For I have neither the knowledge nor the experience to achieve greatness. And already I have stumbled in ignorance and fallen into pools of self-pity. Oh, that is so powerful. Man, reading this actually reminds me of when I first read this many years ago. And it's so true, because notice how he says, how am I going to do this? I don't have the knowledge. I don't have the experience. I don't have the degree. I don't have the business experience. I don't have the sales experience. I don't have the capital. And then he says, in order to achieve this greatness, I have already stumbled in ignorance and fallen into the pools of self-pity. Self-pity is in the mind. Woe is me. How am I going to get there? The government is doing this, and this one is president. I wish that one was president, right? You can make all those excuses, but at the end of the day, it all starts up here, and you can be in control of your destiny. The answer is simple, he says. The answer is simple. I will commence my journey unencumbered with either the weight of unnecessary knowledge or the handicap of meaningless experience. I got into a debate the other day with someone who was talking in one of my mastermind groups, who said, I read a book. There's this guy who was like, I read a book a day. And everybody was like, wow, you read a book a day? That is amazing. You are amazing. And I was the only one, which sometimes I usually tend to be sometimes. I was the only one that said, that's horrible, reading a book a day. And the only reason why I could say that was not just because I wanted to start a fight or anything, was because I had experience in that. I had experience. Years ago, 10 plus years ago, I was reading for 4 to 5 hours a day. So sometimes I'd get through a book a day. Sometimes I'd do a book and a half, and I was reading a lot. And that experience actually led me to too much knowledge and unfocused direction. So I don't personally believe reading a book a day is going to get you very far. I think you'll fill your mind with a lot of knowledge. Yeah, you'll know a lot of stuff, but that doesn't mean it's going to take you in the right direction. So that's what he says here. I will commence my journey unencumbered with either the weight of unnecessary knowledge or the handicap of meaningless experience. Meaningless experience means going in the wrong direction, doing those things that you shouldn't be doing, that don't align with your talent and ability. Let's continue. Nature already has supplied me with the knowledge and instinct far greater than any beast in the forest, and the value of experience is overrated. Used by old who nod wisely and speak stupidly. This is so true. I deal with a lot of people who struggle with knowledge and they always feel like they need to know more, right? When the reality is they already have enough knowledge to do what they're trying to do. So it's not a matter of knowing more. It's a matter of getting out there and doing it and experiencing it, and having some core people in your life, like mentors and coaches, to actually speak into your life or guide you along the way. That's what's really important, okay? In truth, experience teaches thoroughly, yet course of instruction devours men's years, so the value of her lessons diminishes with time, necessary to acquire her special wisdom. The end finds it wasted on dead men. Furthermore, experience is comparable to fashion. An action that proved successful today will be unworkable and impracticable and practical tomorrow. Only principles endure, and these I now possess, for the laws that will lead me to greatness are contained in the words of these scrolls. What they will teach me is more to prevent failure than to gain success. For what is success other than a state of mind? Powerful. Listen to that. I'm going to repeat it for you. Only principles endure, and these I now possess, for the laws that will lead me to greatness are continued in the words of these scrolls. What they will teach me is more to prevent failure than to gain success. For what is success other than a state of mind? It's so true. Of course, your success is different than my success. What you think is successful to you is going to be different for me. And you know where that is? Right here. It's all in our mind. Success is in our mind, right? It's a feeling. It's an emotion. And that's why sometimes you've probably seen or heard people who may have all this money but very depressed and kill themselves. And then you see people who have almost nothing and they're very happy, right? Success is a state of mind, so keep that in mind. Which two among 1,000 wise men will define success in the same words? Yet failure is always described by one way. Failure is a man's inability to reach his goals in life, whatever they may be. So he's saying that of course, you may have 1,000 people and success is different for each and every single one of them. But failure, everyone can agree on. It's the man's inability to reach his goals and dreams, whatever that may be. In truth, the only difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Oh, come on, guys. That is powerful, right? In truth, the only difference between those who have failed and those who have succeeded lies in the difference of their habits. Okay, again, the reason why I created the Fearless Millionaire Habits is because the difference between success and failure is in your habits, the things you do every day. It's those things you do. This is why, and I'm going to share with you about this here in a minute at the end, is the Fearless Millionaire Foundational Manual talks just about this. Just about this. It's the difference that the habits that you have. It's all in the foundation right there. Very powerful. Good habits are the key to all success. Bad habits are the unlocked door to failure. Thus, the first law I will obey, which precedeth all others, is I will form good habits and become their slaves. Become slaves to your good habits. That means do good habits, build good habits into your life, and just keep working for them. Work hard on your good habits. Say no to the bad habits and work hard to your good habits. Work really hard for them. Let's continue. As a child, I was a slave to my impulses. Now I'm a slave to my habits, as are all grown men. I have surrendered my free will to the years of accumulated habits, and the past deeds of my life have already marked out a path which threatens to imprison my future. My actions are ruled by appetite, passion, prejudice, greed, love, fear, environment, habit, and the worst of these tyrants is habit, therefore. If I must be a slave to habit, let me be a slave to my good habits. My bad habits must be destroyed and new furrows prepared for a good seed. I will form good habits and become their slave. And how will I accomplish this difficult feat? Through these scrolls, it will be done. For each scroll contains a principle that will drive a bad habit from my life and replace it with one which will bring me closer to success. For it is another one of nature's laws that only habit can subdue another habit. That means one habit can overtake another habit. So if you have bad habits, your good habits can replace your bad habits. So in order for these written words to perform their chosen task, I must discipline myself with the first one of my new habits, which is this as follows. Here it goes. I will read each scroll for 30 days in this prescribed manner before I proceed to the next scroll. So he will read each scroll for 30 days in the prescribed manner before I proceed to the next scroll. First, I will read the words in silence when I wake up. Then I will read the words in silence after I have partaken of my midday meal. So during lunch, he reads it again. Last, I will read the words again just before I retire at day's end, before you go to sleep. And most important, on this occasion, I will read the words out loud. So powerful. Make sure you speak it, declare it, get it out there. On the next day, I will repeat this procedure, and I will continue in like manner for 30 days. Then I will turn in the next scroll and repeat this procedure for the next 30 days. I will continue in this manner until I have lived with each scroll for 30 days and my reading has become a habit. And what will be accomplished with this habit? Herein lies the hidden secret of man's accomplishments. As I repeat the words daily, they will soon become a part of my active mind. But more important, they will also seep into my other mind, because there's two minds, right? But more important, they will also seep into my other mind, that mysterious source which never sleeps, which creates my dreams, and often makes me act in ways I do not comprehend. As the words of the scrolls are consumed by my mysterious mind, I will begin to awake each morning with vitality that I have never known before. My vigor, my strength, my mental strength will increase. My enthusiasm will rise. My desire to meet the world will overcome every fear I have once knew at sunrise, and I will be happier than I ever believed it to be possible in this world of strife and sorrow. Very powerful. Reading these scrolls every day for 30 days, one scroll after the other, one scroll after the other, reading it out loud in the morning, the afternoon, and the evening, and do that on a regular basis. Now, I want to bring up something that's, notice how he says to do these things for a number of days. Remember all the success stories that he mentioned. A lot of companies started implementing this, big companies, not because they had money, no, because they had a team of people that were focused, the team of people that were on board with the same thought process. This is a good foundation to some of those companies that have been around for 50 or 100 years, or even over 100 years. The foundation you'll find right here in this book. So whether you want to build a big business, whether you want to build a smaller business and make it last a long time, these are some great fundamental principles. Let's continue. Eventually, I will find myself reacting to all situations which comfort me as I commanded in the scrolls to react. And soon these actions and reactions will become easy to perform. For any act which with practice becomes easy. Thus, a new and good habit is born. For when an act becomes easy through constant repetition, it becomes a pleasure to perform. And if it is a pleasure to perform, it is man's nature to perform it often. When I perform it often, it becomes a habit and I become its slave. And since it is a good habit, this is my will. Today I begin a new life. And I make a solemn oath to myself that nothing will retard my new life's growth. I will not lose a day from these readings, for that day cannot be retrieved, nor can I substitute another for it. I will not break this habit of daily reading of these scrolls. And in truth, the few moments spent each day on this new habit but are a small price to pay for the happiness and success that will be mine. As I read and reread the words and the scrolls to follow, never will I allow the brevity of each scroll nor the simplicity of these words to cause me to treat the scroll's message lightly. That means don't take this stuff lightly. Don't take these words just as words. Take them, grab them, and use them. Thousands of grapes are pressed to fill one jar of wine, and the grape skin and plump are tossed to the birds. So it is with grapes of wisdom from the ages. Much has been filtered and tossed to the wind. Only the pure truth lies distilled in the words that are coming. I will drink as instructed and spit not a drop, and the seed of success I will swallow. Today, my old skin has become as dust. I will walk tall among men, and they will know me not, for today I am a new man with a new life. You hear all those declarations? Very, very powerful declarations right there. Now, before you continue, go back and read the scroll again. It continues one key sentence that I want you to underline, and it's this. As I repeat daily, they will soon become a part of my active mind. But more important, they will also seep into my other mind, that mysterious source which never sleeps, which creates my dreams and often makes me act in the ways I do not comprehend. In modern terminology, what that key sentence means is that you are about to mind condition yourself. You are about to begin the process of imprinting new relays and transistors onto your subconscious mind. That control box, which mysteriously directs many of our actions and our ambitions, there's nothing weird or far out about this technique. Many of the nation's outstanding examples of success constantly program themselves so that they instinctively react to various situations in a manner that will provide them with the greatest possible benefit. W. Clement Stone, a powerful author, by the way, and entrepreneur, chairman of the Combined Insurance Company of America and the country's outstanding experience on the motivation of others, used this technique on himself to amass a personal and self-made fortune of more than $400 million. Now, that was a lot of money at that time. Today, we're seeing above and beyond that with the newer entrepreneurs, right? But at that time, that was a lot of money. Perhaps it still is a lot of money, of course, but we know there's other billionaires now who have reached much higher statuses. Perhaps your goal is not that high, but let's make a run for it anyway. So what he says there in closing, perhaps your goal is not 400 million, maybe it's to $1 million. That's what Fearless Millionaire is all about. These principles that we've learned just in chapter 1 and chapter 2 is what Fearless Millionaire is all about. Changing your habits, changing your thought processes, seeing things differently, declaring and saying things differently in order to achieve the level of success that you're going to achieve. And he says, perhaps your goal is not that high, which it's okay. You set your goal and what you want it to be, but let's make a run for it anyway. Let's go to $1 million. Some people want to go to $1 million as in $1 million. Some people want to go to $1 million as touching 1 million people's lives and helping 1 million people. Some people want to build 1 million schools. Some people want to feed 1 million people. Some people want to impact 1 million lives. Some people want to coach 1 million people. Some people want 1 million followers. Some people want 1 million fans. Some people want to sell 1 million of their songs. Some people want to live and speak to millions of people. Some people want to live and maybe build 1 million homes. I've actually met an investor that way. That was one of his goals, and he was doing pretty well with it. And you have to decide whatever it is for you, no matter what it is, whether it's money, whether it's charity, whether it's relationship, whatever it may be, whether it's impacting someone's life, go to $1 million. My good friend, my late friend and good mentor named Jim Rohn, he taught me something so powerful many years ago, and I want to close up this session with this. My good friend and mentor, my late mentor, Jim Rohn, once told me, he said, Nathan, he said, go to $1 million, because it's not the money that you're going to make when you get there. You'll make the money. It's the person that you become in the journey to $1 million. And when he told me that, I was just blown away. Sadly, he died like literally, I think it was just a few months after that. But it was one of the most powerful words he left with me. And that was less than 10 years ago. And when he said that, it actually shaped a lot of what Fearless Millionaire is today and going to $1 million. And that is because these principles are timeless, like Mandino said in this reading. So they're timeless, they're principles that never end and never die. All you have to do is apply them. So this is a foundation. These principles are a foundation to your success. Now, I want to share something with you that's really a good opportunity at this time. I want to share with you the foundation. It's actually the Fearless Millionaire Foundation Manual. And I'm going to post a link that in this description of the video, and you can buy that course that I wrote a number of years ago. And it's actually a lot of these principles about discovering what your fear is, discovering what's holding you back, knowing what it is that you want to break through from. I'm telling you, this course, this foundational course, is so powerful that I have had people tell me that they said, wow, I discovered things about myself that I didn't know existed. I didn't realize this was holding me back. And when I went through this course, it just showed me, when I wrote things out, it showed me what was really holding me back. And that's what this Fearless Millionaire Foundation Manual will do for you. The Foundation Manual is the foundation. It lays the foundation. Before you want to go build a big business, start here. Start with the Foundation Manual. Before you want to go and sell a bunch of stuff, touch a lot of lives, start here. Start with your habits. Start where it really matters, right here. Start here in your mind. So I will put a link in the description for the Fearless Millionaire Foundation Manual, which I really encourage you to get, and send me a testimonial, send me your results, send me what you think about it, because I have a good stack of them in my, I like to hold on to them, and I like to reread them every once in a while, and I do share those online so other people can be inspired. Okay, so that was chapter 1 and chapter 2 of The Greatest Secret in the World. Now, every Tuesday at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we're going to do this Read with Nathan. You can even use the hashtag Read with Nathan, and that's what we're going to be doing every Tuesday. Now, every Wednesday, we have Ask Nathan. So tomorrow, we have the Ask Nathan. I'm not going to call it the Ask Nathan show, but it's the Ask Nathan session, where you can submit your questions, and I will get those answered. And it can be business related, career related, life related, something that's you're stopping you, or whatever it is. You can email those in, you can fill out the form, or you can just jump on live and share those questions. Hey, I appreciate you watching. I appreciate every like and every comment. Thank you so much for leaving your comments. I will read those and I will respond. Thank you so much for the likes. I really appreciate it. Go over and like the Fearless Millionaire page on Facebook, and also subscribe and like the video over on YouTube. And we're streaming live to both of them. I'm Nathan. Thank you so much for listening and joining me on this journey as we read The Greatest Secret in the World. I will talk to you and see you real soon. Take care.